Hey guys, so here's all my flowers I collected from Acme and around my yard. A lot of them are actually weeds. I have my nails all empty and ready to go. So here I'm just going to pre-cut my flowers and have them all ready to put on my nails. It makes it much easier when they're all laid out around you and ready to go. So I'm getting ready to do my milk bath nails. Got all my nails prepped and ready to go. I gotta put my forms on and then I'm gonna put the acrylic on, but I'm gonna show you a short video of all this while I'm going along. So see you in a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start with my non-dominant hand because everybody knows that that is the hardest to work with. So I have all my forms out and the backs on. They're on the side of my table, so it makes it easier to put them on. So this video is going to be a little sped up, so you're not here all day. It did take me 4.5 hours to do these on myself. So what I'm using is CND sheer pink powder and my CND retention liquid. And I'm starting off with a very thin layer, almost transparent, so you will be able to see the flowers from underneath the nails as well, which I think is a cool effect. So right now I'm just building out my base, my foundation, and then I'm going to add just a small thin layer of clear acrylic, and then I'm going to start pressing in my flowers that I have laid around the table. Sculpting nails is very challenging for me sometimes, but I watch a lot of videos, tutorials. I think my biggest inspiration is Kirsty Meakin from Neo Nails. You have to check her out. Big shout out to her. Thank you for all the education. And I did watch your video before I did these, actually. So what I'm doing is I'm just picking up little pieces of flowers using my acrylic brush. I did find out that this orange one that I'm putting on now kind of lost its color once I encapsulated it. I don't know if you'll be able to tell from the video, although it ended up turning like slate brownish or whatever, but it still looked really cool when it was in there and it was said and done. Kirsty Meakin did mention in her tutorial that the flower sometimes will change color once the acrylic touches it, which makes sense. But once they're in there, they're good to go. So now I made a milky white mixture using clear acrylic and white acrylic. I don't have an exact measurement on what I did, but it turned out nice. I just got it to the right consistency. So I went ahead and skipped ahead in the video, and now I'm on my other hand, which is so much easier to do, thank God. So again, I'm adding a thin layer of my sheer pink, pulling it down to the length that I want, and I'm choosing to go fairly long because it never fails. I always accidentally going too short, and if you go longer, it's easier to take them down than it is to build them out if you do them too short, which I ended up doing. I think 2 of them I messed up on, and I had to go back and build them back out. And boy, it's a pain in the butt. So on this one, I'm going to go ahead and lay down some milky white acrylic underneath to give it a different effect. So I'm going to put it underneath, and I'm also going to dab some on top of the flowers as well, which you'll see coming up. So I'm just going to press that in place, and don't forget to work on your strength and structure during your base that you're laying out there. So some of these flowers I actually found from around my yard. You'd be surprised that weeds actually grow really tiny flowers on them that you can use. So I'm pressing around my petals and pressing them in. And if you find that your acrylic is drying too quick and it's not sticking, just add a little bit of clear acrylic under it and press it down again. There was a little stem that was too long. I cut it off there. By the way, I am pinching these, but I am pinching them off camera. You want to give them a slight pinch to give them a nice curve and C-curve. So now I'm just still pressing in some of my leaves that I want around there. I love that purple flower. And now I'm going to dab some of my milky white acrylic around. Don't let it flood your sidewalls. You want to try to get it as good as you can so it's not so much filing at the end. And make sure you don't forget about building up your apex at the same time, which is the most important part of the nail. It is pretty much the backbone of the nail. Still just pressing around some white until I get the effect that I want. Some are more milkier than the other ones, which is fine. I was going for different effects like that because this is my first time doing these. And now I'm just pulling clear acrylic over the top to encase it. Make sure you clean up them sidewalls and work on that apex at the same time. And make sure you encapsulate all the flowers. And if there's any little pieces hanging off the edges or whatever, I wouldn't worry about that because you can file that away. They'll come right off. So I'm pulling some from the tip up to the top to make sure everything is completely covered. I'm sorry for my camera skills. I will work on it. But it was very hard trying to make sure everything was on camera while I was working. So I have to work on that. So here's another nail. I'm pulling down my sheer pink again to create my length. Strengthening the tip a little bit. These are Mia's Secret nail forms. I love them. I eventually will probably get Kirsty's forms though. She has a line of forms that are really cool. They have skulls on them. So I'm pressing in my flowers. Love this yellow and purple together. Adding a little bit of clear acrylic and then pressing in this white flower because it was a little bigger. So I pressed it down. Don't worry about smushing the flowers. It gives it a really cool effect once they're all done. There was a little bit of yellow in my white acrylic there, I noticed. That's actually from that yellow petal. It must have bled onto my brush. But I was like, oh, cool. So I'm going to add some white to the tip, pull it up over that purple flower. And then if you find that, like, you accidentally put too much white or whatever, just get your brush wet again and run out that white before it dries. And you should have no problem. I really love the way this particular nail came out. The purple and the yellow just look beautiful together. So I'm just building up my apex here, strengthening up the nail. I love this flower. Add some more purple because you know that looks so good together. Just pressing whatever you want. It's very hard to do my nails with these forms on, I'll tell you. It's very challenging for me. But as you can tell, if you peek over, you can see my other hand is done. That was my hardest hand to do. They turned out really pretty. It's a very clever idea. Just pressing this white around. Working on my structure at the same time. And I guess the milkier you would want it, the drier you would keep your bead. And I would think the more transparent you would want the milky white to be, I would keep it at a wetter consistency. and flowers are really popping through that white mix. Now I'm just encasing it with clear acrylic, which is very important, of course. Make sure you pull all that down, clean up your sidewalls. And your cuticle area. I'll put some on the tip and pull it up to add strength. I see a little dip right there, so I'm going to go ahead and fill that in. Blend it up, blend it down. And see how you can see underneath. And yes, 4 hours later, people. Ugh. But they turned out very nice. I'm very happy. Thank you, Kirsty Meakin, for the inspiration, and every other talented nail tech out there that has done these. You are all very talented, and I learned a lot today, and thank you for watching. Please like and share.